Kat and Josh will play.
Mike, after last night, you said that Jaylen Brunson told you before walking out that he was going to go win the game.
Yeah.
Just maybe this is like naive of me, but how many guys have you coached that have done that and also walked the walk? Like how unique is that? How special is that?
That's special. I'm pretty sure Steph's done it before. I'm sure Bron has. The times I've been with him, Kobe. I mean, that's rare air when you're talking about the confidence to be able to say something like that and then actually go out and do it. So.
Coach, I know you're focused on tonight's game, but just again, reflecting back on last night's game, you always talk about the standard that you expect every player. You have to think every player to hit your standard. As you watched the tape, did you see anything in there that was even more pleasantly surprising to you?
Yeah, I mean, we showed a couple of clips on both ends of the floor from our game last night before we got into Philly tonight, and you always talk about, you guys hear it, and everybody says it. It's coach talk or coach cliche type stuff. Next man up, next man up, next man up, and it was at the end of the first. I think it was at the end of the first quarter. I threw Kevin McCullough on the floor for 1.4 seconds, and I think that's all he played last night. But it gave us an opportunity to take Jaylen out, get him some rest, give him a little bit more rest, and he had to go out there and he matched up with Garrison Matthews, a great shooter, played in the NBA many years, and he couldn't have played that out of bounds play that they had any more perfect. Before the referee gave whoever was inbounding the ball, before the referee gave the ball to that person, Kev was in Garrison sending him the correct way, so he was extremely physical without fouling, and they set a pin down. And Kev got hit hard. He fought through the pin down, and then he was the second jumper. We always talk about second jumper. He was the second jumper and contested without fouling. And it's tough because Garrison kicks out his leg a little bit, and you catch his leg very easily. But he contested, and when you're watching the film, you can feel that contest. And it was small, but it was big because we were down 28-14, or maybe even bigger than that in the first. We made a push. They got the last shot by one of their best shooters, one of the best shooters in the NBA, and he ended up, I think, shooting an air ball because of Kevin staying ready when his number was called, even though it was for 1.4 seconds. And so that play right there exemplifies what next man up means.
Mike, you mentioned Jaylen getting some rest. With the way Tyler's been playing, and Deuce should be back sometime soon, just with those two guys, how confident are you that they can give you opportunities to give Jaylen more rest and limit some of those high minutes?
No, I'm confident. And I told our guys that during our cup run, everybody's minutes is going to increase. But with that being over, I think Mikal was the only one that went above what I wanted to have happen last night. And so guys should get a little closer to what their normal minutes during the regular season are going to be now that our cup run is over. So and utmost confidence in Tyler and Deuce.
Now that you lived through it and won the final with the cup and played a game less than 48 hours later, and you reflect on it a little bit, people surmise about like the emotional trip that takes going through all that kind of middle of the season. It almost feels like you're done with something and turn around and play a game. Is it a weird? Is it a weird psychology? What would you compare it to?
No, it's really weird because you're fighting, and your emotions are high. And for the beginning of the regular season, it's pretty intense. And then when it's over, you're boom right back in the regular season games, and you don't have a ton of time to reflect. You just got to kind of figure out a way to keep going again. And so it definitely is a weird feeling. That's why I give our guys a lot of credit going into last night's game I started Mo. He ended up playing almost 20 minutes. Tyler played huge minutes for us. Trey Jemison, who's been in the G League. So we had other guys step up and help us get over the hump when all of our main guys didn't necessarily have it. And like I said, that's why I think this team is deep, and these guys have all bought into what we're trying to preach as a group.
Speaking of Tyler, also, what is your takeaway from specifically the Tyler and Jaylen minutes that you guys used, like good amount of the last two games?
Yeah, we against San Antonio, they do a really good job of protecting the paint, like most good defensive teams do. And it was late in the ball game, maybe in the third quarter, something like that. I was just like, hey, we just need another guy that's going to touch the paint. Not only can touch the paint, but that can score when they're down there if need be. And I don't like playing necessarily those two guys all the time together, and then Jordan Clarkson at the small forward spot. But Tyler did exactly what we needed him to do offensively. He touched the paint, and he got Jaylen off the ball and, worked offensively. But more important than that, Tyler brought a level of nastiness on the defense end of the floor that really helped. And he showed that, he was capable. Now he's not going to go out there and be the stopper that, Herb Jones may be from New Orleans, but Tyler's fighting his behind off, man, and you got to give him a lot of credit when he does that. It gives us the luxury of playing those guys together because he's had a couple of tough matchups that maybe at the beginning of the year we might be, I don't know if we're going to do that, but he's showing that he can handle it.
You went on basically another road trip out of this. Yeah, where you were gone for a week. It snowed in Westchester. You came home and.
For sure, it snowed and it was raining. My sister-in-law was at her house, and I was like, Lisa, were you guys getting a lot of rain? She's like, no. You remember the pictures I sent you like a week ago about the snow? I said, oh, that's right. It snowed and rained. No, we didn't, and that's a story in itself. You guys know I'm long-winded. I don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but we panicked a little bit. Our builder Steve out in Scarsdale, Steve Silverstein. I hope I'm getting his name right, but he was great because we had snow on our driveway and our walkway, and our sister-in-law called us and she was panicked because I'm an Amazon junkie, and so we're getting Amazon package delivered. And she's like, "Hey, somebody's gonna slip. You better get a shovel." I was like, "Shoveled? Oh my God, who do I call?" So we called our builder, and he saved us. He got somebody out there and shoveled it, and so everything's good now.
You got gas for Christmas now. You got a shovel.
Yes. Santiago. That's my middle school. He got to get a shovel for him. Yes. What's that?
Going back to Tyler one more time, you mentioned what he was able to do on the defensive
Yeah.
end. That's not necessarily a reputation he had last year. I'm wondering if you guys challenged him this summer, if you guys saw him working on that, just how did he become in your the type of person who can stand his own ground on the defensive end?
Yeah, no, for sure. We did challenge him because we challenged him on both ends of the floor. Obviously, hey, to be who you are. Because Tyler can score, man. I'm telling you. And I felt it this summer. I felt it when our guys came back early and were working out here. And he's a junkie. He's in that gym all the time. And I think Jaylen said Jaylen's in there all the time. Tyler's right there with him. And so I wanted to make sure that he understood, hey, be yourself offensively, all right, because you can score it, you can pass it. So if you got an opportunity to score it, go ahead and score it. If you feel like you need to pass it, go ahead and pass it. I said, but, just from the eye test, at your size, people are going to come at your neck. And so you have to play with a sense of physicality and toughness. You got to hit first the right way in order to survive. And then once you get to a certain point, you'll have a good reputation about you, and then your game's just going to speak for itself. But right now, you can't relax. You can't wait. You got to initiate everything right now on both ends.